Welcome to Rock Solid, the Round Rock Business Leaders Podcast. Join your host, Bryan Eisenberg, as he explores the journeys of entrepreneurs and companies across Round Rock, Texas. From startups and nonprofits to large organizations, each guest shares their passion for doing business in this thriving community. Let's dive in.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bryan Eisenberg. Welcome to Rock Solid. This week, I'm joined by Philip Golden from Habitat Humanity Williamson County. Welcome.
Well, welcome. Thank you very much for the invitation today.
I'm excited to have you because, I think a lot of people have heard about Habitat for Humanity, but they may not know exactly what you do or how they can even contribute. So I'm looking forward to exploring that. But I'm going to kind of ask you a question to kind of bring us into this. Because you've been doing this for a while, because you came from the Houston area and you've just taken over here in Williamson County, and you've probably been through a bunch of opportunities when you've had new homeowners turning that key. Yeah. What's that feeling like when you know they're turning that key and the impact that that's going to have on their lives?
It's one of the best feelings that you could have, to participate in a home dedication for a Habitat for Humanity homeowner, because I know a lot of them are first-time home owners, and they've had this dream of having a safe and stable home, and to see it come into fruition. There's a lot of tears that are shared that day, and it's also kind of a celebration. And then also seeing the enthusiasm from their children, it's just super heartwarming for someone that's in this role. And
it's not like a typical homeowner buying their home. There's a lot to it from the moment they get their key. There's many months ahead of that. So let's rewind, and what does that all look like?
Sure. I mean, the first thing they have to do is apply.
Okay.
So we do have an application process that allows them to become qualified. So Habitat for Humanity has kind of this mindset that they need to have a need for housing.
Okay.
They have to be able to afford the home, and then they also have to have a willingness to partner with us. And I can share a little bit about all those steps.
Yeah, let's talk about it. What does it take to qualify?
Well, it's an income eligibility. I've spoken before some other groups, and they think, oh, y'all give away the homes, kind of like Oprah Winfrey. Mm-hmm. You get a car, you get a car, you get a car.
It'd be nice.
Not at all. Yeah, it would be nice. That's correct. So we like to identify people that are on the 40 to 80th percentile of the area median income for Austin Round Rock. So they're mostly low-income individuals. So that's we check that. We run their credit reports. We ask for their income tax statements, their bank statements, whatever income sources that they have, and we'll analyze that to see if they fit within that bracket that's established from Habitat International and the Housing and Urban Development Department. Right?
Okay, so my biggest question is just on that, how did those people find out that they may be eligible for a home from Habitat Humanity?
I mean, we have to promote it, no doubt, to have a presence, a Facebook presence or newsletter. They also hear from other Habitat homeowners. One of the nice things of working for this nonprofit, we have a really strong brand nationwide, internationally, in fact. And so they know that, hey, if I don't make enough money, I can't qualify a house. If I make too much money, I should go through a traditional mortgage. And so we just hope that they fit within that. There's no harm, no foul from applying and seeing if they're eligible. No surprise, a lot of them are like single moms that tend to apply, but we don't have any, druthers as to who meets that qualification may be eligible for a home.
Okay, so they apply, they get approved. I know there's a whole process between finding land and all that. We can go into that later, but they're approved. Now what happens?
Yeah, so our family selection committee will actually see if they have a need for housing. If they're living in a comfortable setting right now, why should we continue this path with them as a Habitat homeowners. So we'll actually do a site visit, if you want to call it that. They may be living in an apartment complex that's run down. They may have small children of mixed genders that are sharing a room. Might be appropriate when they're 2 to 4 year old range, but as they age older, certainly not appropriate. Some of them may be renting a room in another family member's home. So that will be part of the calculus or part of what appears in whether we're going to select you.
Okay, so now they're selected, and there's a place of piece of land to build on. What does that process look like?
Well, the first one is that you have to go through like any other traditional home builder, right? I mean, we have to make sure that the land is zoned for residential housing, which some of the land that we've gotten from either the city or county hasn't.
Okay.
If you get a large lot, you may have to subdivide it and get a site development plan that's approved or a planned unit development. So like a traditional home builder, you have to go through those steps. And then since land is so valuable, we tend to build a more dense development than what maybe some other communities are used to. When I was at Bay Area Habitat, we did a lot of infill lots. Here we're trying to make a big impact and put as many houses as we have.
Rock Solid is produced and recorded at Round Rock Studio. Located right here in Round Rock, our state-of-the-art studio is built for podcasters and creatives alike. We offer multiple professionally designed podcast sets, top-notch recording gear, and a full photography studio ready for any project. Whether you're launching a new podcast or upgrading your existing one, we can help with multi-camera recording, editing, and everything you need for success. Record with us at Round Rock Studio, your local podcasting partner.
Okay, and then the process of getting that house built, because I'm sure that's what people have heard about is, you get people to volunteer to help build that house. So talk to us a little bit about, where those volunteers come from, what is the family's role in any of that?
Yeah. Okay. So the easy one's like the family's role. I mentioned that kind of the three things. One of is a willingness to partner with us. And so they have to provide sweat equity hours to actually build on their own home or maybe another homeowner's or another partner family's home. So they will actually spend like 300 hours doing that in lieu of having a down payment, which you would have in a traditional setting. I've been fortunate coming here to Williamson County to inherit an existing volunteer construction base. And it's just people like you and I in the community that's their hobby. Instead of being a railroad train guy or comic book collector or sports memorabilia, imagine this. I want to build homes. And so our homes are built by volunteers, probably about 95% of it. The remaining part is done by licensed trades.
And from those homeowners who are helping, what are they doing? Because obviously, they're not skilled in the trades most likely.
Yeah, that's correct.
So what do they do during those 300 hours?
Yeah, so they teach them. You need to know how to use an air gun or nail gun to nail siding on your house, or to do studs, or to paint the interior, exterior of your home. So it's not anything that we're going to put them in danger, that they're on a scaffold or something along those lines. That's for the professionals. Those are for the guys that have been involved in home construction for a long period of time. Now,
I know I've heard you have some concerns about attracting more youth volunteers and even teens and 20s, younger volunteers into this community, because a lot of the volunteers seem to be aging out. What would be some of the benefits for some of the youth who might be interested in volunteering?
Yeah, you're spot on, because a lot of them are retirees, and so you have kind of like an aging workforce or aging volunteer base. So we try to get as many groups as possible to come, and hope that there is someone in that group that may be in their 40s or 50s that says, I want to do this. I want to do this every Saturday. It's tough because we also build during the week. And so it's, how am I going to fit all that in? So it's no surprise you get a lot of volunteers. We do have some student groups that want to help us. In the past, when I was at Bay Area Habitat for Humanity, we had a relationship with one of the local schools that had a carpentry program. And so they were involved with us. And a couple of them, we thought about maybe we would hire them in the future to be like our construction project manager.
And if a young person wants to learn more, because maybe they want to get into the trades and they have no experience, Would this be a good opportunity for them to connect with people?
Yeah, absolutely. As long as they are of sufficient age, right? So if we have power tools on site with saws or with nail guns and stuff, they have to be at least 18 years old. So it's not for the 12-year-old kid or the 14-year-old kid. It needs to be someone that's just about to graduate from high school. We've had 2 college students, one from Southwestern University, one from another college. It's been his summer working with us because he wants to be a home builder in the future. The other one wants to be an architect.
Interesting. Okay, so now, you have the volunteers, the families put in their hours. What happens after that? How do they take possession of the home? What does it look like ongoing?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't realize that Habitat for Humanity, we're actually the mortgage company too. Mm-hmm. So I have to originate the loan and requalify them and then determine how much we're going to sell the house for. We don't give it away. So the first thing that we will do is we'll get a fair market appraisal done of it, just like any other home that's built, and say, that's the purchase price. But if you build a house in Georgetown, it may be worth $400,000. That homeowner's not going to be able to buy it.
Correct.
So we will do kind of a income qualification process, affordability calculator. What can they actually afford to pay towards this home?
Okay.
And I've mentioned a couple things. They're not really doing a down payment or small one. We also offer a 0% interest loan.
Yeah, which is
To
fascinating.
help that.
Yeah.
And so we'll figure out, so if a house costs $400,000, appraised value, and they can only afford to pay $200,000 over a 30-year note. Right? We will actually have them sign for the entire amount, and that spread is a forgivable loan. And so it's kind of our gift or our donation to that Habitat homeowner. So they're only paying for what they can afford.
And I know that you guys have a recent community that you recently opened up as well. What's the community? And I know there's a family that was behind it that donated some significant amount of land for all of that.
Yeah, so currently we're building in the city of Georgetown, and the name of the development is called Shepherd's Village.
Yep.
Dr. James Shepherd was the benefactor, the one that provided us the land. He passed away. I think he was one of the early pediatricians in the city of Georgetown, and his family has still been involved with us. They spoke at the groundbreaking ceremony, and so they did provide the land for us. And that land in Shepherd's Village is about an acre lot where we plan to build 6 sets of side-by-side townhome-style condominiums. So we're going to have 12 families that we're serving, and right now the first pair is near completion.
When do you think that will actually be open? So if that people want to come by and take a look at what they've done?
They can come by right now. I mean, it's not barricaded anything along those lines. If they come by, beware, we may have you as a volunteer to help us out. That's correct, yeah. So we're hoping to have that home finished right before Thanksgiving in November. The groundbreaking ceremony was April 12th, and we spent roughly 6 months building that house. And then we'll start our next houses right afterwards.
I mean, to run an operation like that as a home builder, but as a not-for-profit, I mean, takes a lot of resources, not just financial, but just logistic as well. Where does all of that come from?
Well, I mean, it is a difficult nonprofit to run, and I've been involved in others that have been in like health and human services because we're not only a home construction business, we have a discount home improvement store. We're running a store, got to pay sales taxes. We're the mortgage company, and then we also do a repair program.
Yeah, I want to go into that in a moment.
So it takes a lot of training. Thankfully, Habitat Texas, which is our state support organization, supports and provides resources to leaders like me. There's roughly 60 other habitats throughout the state of Texas, and also Habitat International, which is based out of Atlanta, also has classes and resources that any type of Habitat nonprofit employee or personnel on my staff can call on.
Now, I know you mentioned some of the repairs, and that's close to home for me because obviously my wife and I own a home care agency, and dealing with a lot of seniors and veterans who are often aging in place and may have health issues and stuff like that. What does that program look like for those people who may not be able to afford full care? What kinds of programs can you do to help them age in place? Yeah,
we're fortunate to have a lot of financial support from Williamson County and from some of the cities within our county, like the Georgetown and Taylor, and we just submitted a request for funding from the city of Hutto. So the county sets aside almost $250,000 to allow us to do and to have a robust repair program. So people apply just like they apply for a home, and they say, hey, and they're not necessarily a Habitat homeowner. They're just anyone in the community that says, hey, I meet your income qualifications. I need some repairs. I need a new roof. My AC unit's not working very well. In the summer months, really tough to do that. Or my fence fell down. And so the same type of thing happens. There's an assessment made, a repair crew goes out there, and we get it done.
What if it's, for example, like a senior or a veteran that have some disabilities? Maybe they're getting into a wheelchair. They may need ramps. They may need grab bars. Is that the kind of repairs that you can also do as well?
That's a common request to allow them to age in place. If you have elderly parents, you know how stressful it is for them to transition from the home that they've been living in for so long, just because they may have a bathtub that they can't get into. And so if you can put a walk-in shower or accessibility bars or a wheelchair ramp to assist them with that, or maybe even widen the front entrance to their home.
Yes.
It's a common request, and so we do that. And again, that's all done by volunteers. It's amazing.
Just as a rough thing, like how many families a year are you impacting between, building homes and I'm just talking about your location, and repairs and the store?
Yeah, so last calendar year, I think we did like 75 different repairs spread throughout the entire county. The typical repair cost was about $5,000.
Okay.
But when you do a new roof, that's closer to a $10,000 to $12,000 project. Currently, the homes that we're building are going to be serving 2 families. I hope to be in a position where we're building from 2 to 4 to 6 houses a year. So that's kind of roughly who we help.
Now, I imagine, as the economy changes, you've been in the nonprofits for a while, and there's concerns about where people are spending, where people are donating, and how they're seeing an impact for anything they're donating. What's something you would tell them in terms of Habitat for Humanity, in terms of how you support and they can actually see their impact?
Yeah, well, just participating in the home build if you can, to hear the stories from those we helped. I'm fortunate. We survey all of our home repair clients. And I can't tell you how many times, Brian, we get a cake delivered to our office or a thank you note that people are just gushing and saying, you've made a tremendous impact in my life. I no longer have to borrow or use an extension cord to get power from someone else's house.
Wow.
Or you made our holidays because I can sleep where I'm not sweating, and a new AC unit. So I share that with my board. I share that when I do grant applications to provide kind of a personal testimony of the power and impact that Habitat for Humanity makes for those in our community.
In all the time you've been with Habitat for Humanity, is there just one story that just every time you tell it just melts your heart?
Well, so when I was at Bay Area Habitat for Humanity Houston, which is in the Clear Lake area, it was a troubled affiliate. It was a troubled nonprofit. And there were some homes that were started that weren't finished because they ran out of money. And I had a big donor there, which was a petrochemical plant. They said, hey, Mr. Golden, we heard that you were just hired. We want our money back. And so I had to convince them, no, I have a plan in place to get this house finished. And I shared with him, what ultimately do we want to have happen? We want to have Ebony Green move into her house. visiting with her the first time was probably the most emotional happening that I've had as a nonprofit leader, because she said, hey, I applied for this, Mr. Golden, 3 to 4 years ago. I haven't heard anything. I drive by the house and it's just rotting away. And so one of the first things that I did is literally demo the frame. We were able to reuse the concrete foundation and the underground plumbing. And what was really cool is at that home dedication, which we got finished right before the end of the year, the person who asked for their money back, that corporate liaison, said, I never thought that this would happen, and we want to sponsor another house next year. And it was just one of the coolest things that I've been involved in, to be able to overcome something that seemed really insurmountable, and also just to see the smiles on Ebony's face that day when we handed over the keys.
What was the biggest leadership lesson that you took away from that you'd pass on to other not-for-profit leaders? Persistence,
belief in yourself, belief in your team, belief in your cause, and just keep plugging away. I'm also kind of one of these believers in just try something. Mm-hmm. You know, you can always overcome your mistakes, and you know, as you learn, take your lessons learned and keep going forward.
What's the biggest thing that people don't understand about Habitat for Humanity? Maybe, you know, like I said, maybe they've heard of it because, you know, obviously President Carter used to build homes for Habitat for Humanity. So maybe they've heard of it. What's the biggest, most popular misconception? I mean, I think you mentioned one, that you give away the houses.
Yeah, that we give away the houses, so we're not. They all think that we're all part of the same organization.
Okay.
Right? So Austin Habitat for Humanity, just south of us, and Travis County, is an entirely different Habitat affiliate. They have their own budget, their own board of directors, have their own executive director, their own restores, whereas we're a different setting. It's kind of the same situation I was faced with down in Clear Lake. We had the big monster Habitat with Houston that's building 60 houses a year. Austin's probably going to build that many this year.
Awesome.
They do things a little bit differently. I asked them and said, well, what's your volunteer percentage? And I shared with you it's close to 95%.
Okay.
They said, well, we build so many houses, only about 20% of the construction is actually done by volunteers. We have to use contractors.
And that probably also makes it more expensive.
It probably makes it more expensive, but remember, they still do an affordability analysis of what the homeowner will buy.
Correct. But that has an impact, obviously, on how far
how many houses you can build.
Yeah.
Correct. I want to keep my expenses down as low as possible, get as much product donated to us. We were fortunate. Our last house that we built, a Round Rock legend, if you would, Hall Roofing and Construction, Eric Hall and Michelle Lee, I think is how you pronounce her name. I spoke at a Round Rock Chamber event, and she was in the audience, and she sent me an email in the middle of it. Said, when you get there, I want to donate a new roof, just out of the blue. And so if other people that are in the same type of setting that she is in that can help us, we'd welcome it.
I kind of want to just go a little bit of a different direction, because, you know, you also have this restore, and there's one up in Georgetown. Do you, any others in the Williamson County area that you mentioned?
Do not. We used to have one in Round Rock that I think closed about 18 months ago.
So before I
got here, that's correct.
Okay, so but you've been involved in other restores as well. So I'm very curious, what's the most surprising thing that's ever been donated to one of these restores that just kind of shocked you?
It's kind of weird, because when I participate in webinars or Zoom calls with other leaders that are running a restore, they always open up with that question.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, they'll say, have you got anything unusual lately? You know, so we've received very valuable artwork before that we really didn't have the customers to purchase that. So sometimes we'll send it out to an art gallery,
or to an auction,
do it, an auction house, to do it on a consignment basis. We had some furniture done by a famous Italian designer.
Okay.
One of my board members knew about it, and he said, hold on a second, let's do that. recently we got a huge donation from Texas A&M Health Science Center here in Round Rock that they were doing a renovation of their library and some of their other facilities there. So they just gave us a ton of furniture. It's almost where I almost have to store it off site. We have so much. So it's kind of shocking to have something like that occur.
So is that something else that you're looking for maybe people who are listening to this? Maybe they're closing their office and they've, like even the office I was in, there was a whole bunch of extra monitors and stuff like that. Is that those are kinds of things
it depends on how they are. I mean, traditionally a restore facility, what they're called, a discount home improvement store, would have doors, windows, leftover flooring, tiles, bathroom tiles, light fixtures, home decor, furniture, not as much office furniture, but if we get the right kind, we will take it, right? Awesome. If I can sell it and use those proceeds to support our mission, I'll do it.
Awesome. If people want to learn more about you and connect with you, maybe they have other questions, maybe they want to donate another roof. We don't know. It's very possible. Where can they reach you?
Yeah, at our website, williamsonhabitat.org. We're also active in social media. Terrific. We have a Facebook page for our nonprofit, for our affiliate alone. We also have a new Facebook page for our restore. So you can read about what's the latest deal, what kind of interesting oddities and things that Golden pick up recently, and what's for sale. And then in Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. I also like to speak in front of as many groups as possible. So if you're with like a Kiwanis Club or a Lions Club, invite me to speak.
Awesome. Phil, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much, too.